Hello garden lovers! This is going to be a quick video going over our irrigation setup. If you are not familiar with our channel, we are growing an edible landscape on a half acre in Southern California. We are zone 9B. It is a hot deserty climate here, but we also live at a higher elevation than some surrounding areas, and we get quite a bit of frost each year. Lows down to about 28 degrees. Here is an image of our property before we started adding irrigation. Plus, there's no good natural soil to grow in. Our ground is all DG, decomposed granite. So we have created all of our growing areas by bringing in soil, compost, and making our own compost. And with all the healthy soil and a great irrigation system, we are able to grow all of this delicious food and beauty. In a minute, we will turn the irrigation system on, and some may see our system and say that the overspray is a waste of water. But the overspray is feeding lots of plants like strawberries. You could see them crawling around the base of the beds. We have Italian dandelions that grow at the base of the beds. That's our chicks' food. We have lots of different flowers growing for the pollinators and many other plants. Plus, we prefer a permaculture growing style as we have found it to be low maintenance. You could hear the birdies in the background. They have been enjoying the strawberries growing at the base of the beds. And here's some baby watercress starting out and some basil. At the base of this bed are some baby flowers that are just getting started, and this beautiful basil bush that overwinters every year. It gets fed by the overspray. All right, now we'll get the irrigation turned on and do a quick walkthrough. This is the main garden area. The irrigation system consists of your typical half-inch PVC pipe ran under the beds. You could see here the mini sprinkler is feeding the strawberries, dahlias. We have some chives growing there, Italian dandelions. The PVC pipe comes up to 2 points in the 4x8 area. We use this manifold with 8 irrigation accesses where we attach a 1/4 inch soaker hose to the irrigation accesses and to these mini irrigation sprinklers. We have tried many different mini sprinklers and have narrowed them down to a couple favorites. We use this style in most of our growing areas. They spray horizontal with a slight arch and give great coverage. We typically have 6 mini sprinklers in a 4x8 bed, 3 placed in one half of the bed and the other 3 placed in the other half. We have found this works best because as plants grow and mature and get big, some water could be cut off or blocked from other plants. So this setup ensures that all plants are reached. This is our hatch green chili bed. We grow hatch green chilies here every year, and I'll just do a quick walkthrough so that you could see this setup in action. This is our double cattle panel raised beds where we're trellising tomato plants, growing chili peppers, potatoes, chard, some Asian greens, and it's the same setup. In this smaller planter bed, we are using the same mini sprinklers, the 360 mini sprinkler, but we have them pushed down much lower because we're not utilizing the overspray. You could see we're chili pepper crazies over here. We're growing over 50 varieties, and we'll be doing a chili pepper garden tour in probably about a month and a half, so make sure to hit that subscribe button. So there's no need for the 8-axis manifold, so in these smaller planter beds we're using the 4-axis. Here is a much smaller planter bed. It's about a 3x3. You can see here we've got some beautiful jalapenos already setting in. Little Jedi's already been ripping them off the plant. He loves chilies just about as much as us, but he prefers the Aji Rico. They're not as spicy. And since this bed is much smaller, we are just using the 2-axis manifold, but the same 360 mini sprinklers. Well, I'm glad we're filming this video because we just identified a problem. This is definitely some water waste right here. These are our asparagus and berry beds, and they have lots of soaker hoses running through them. But we just planted this new berry plant. You could see here the soaker hoses, the water comes out of these little porous areas, and it's just dripping all over the place. Gonna have to get it switched out with a non-soaker hose. And here we have a newly planted black raspberry. Excited about all the antioxidants we'll get from that beautiful berry. In this smaller planter bed, we are trellising tomatoes, and we have a bunch of peanuts growing. We do have one mini 360 sprinkler, but with the peanuts growing the way they are, it blocks off the water to the trellis tomatoes. So here we added the 1/4-inch drip tubing with emitters. And in this area, next to the casita my husband is building, we have the same setup with a couple differences. Here are some trellis tomato plants with some chili peppers. The overspray is feeding the barley that we feed our chicks. And some onions are getting ready to go in the center. We have the 360 mini sprinklers spraying except for this last corner area where we didn't want the overspray landing on the casita. We've got some beautiful tomatoes setting in. Can't wait to slice one of these babies open. And in this next bed, we had to make some adjustments also, and that's what makes having the 8-axis manifold handy. The 360 mini sprinklers are in the back of all of this cut and grow lettuce. And the lettuce ended up cutting off the water supply to the baby watermelon and cantaloupes. So we added these 180-degree mini sprinklers. And once we've harvested all the lettuce, then we'll go ahead and remove the 180-degree, and the 360 mini sprinklers will do the job for the whole entire bed again. This next bed is strictly the girls' kale. Same setup. We have a bunch of little baby kale direct seeded, just about 1/4 inch high. Super cute. And same as the other bed, the overspray is feeding the barley. Now I'll head into our greenhouses where we're growing chilies year-round. This is also where most of our baby starts grow, and we have the flexibility to use either the 360 mini sprinkler to cover a wide area, or in the case when the chili peppers are growing in their individual containers, then we'll set them up with the little drip emitters. Also, once we get time, we're going to replace out the 1/4 inch soaker hose with 1/4 inch drip line. which will work better for this application. The drip emitters are fed by this 3/4 inch drip irrigation tubing, and it's capped off with a 3/4 inch universal smart lock. If you have any questions about our run schedules or run times, then go ahead and drop your question in the chat and we'll answer it as soon as we can. And in our mini orchard, where most of the trees are still very young, but you'll see in a minute our nectarine tree is bursting full of fruit, we are using these mushroom bubblers. This tree has the most delicious nectarines I've ever tasted. And lastly, some of our growing areas have just your standard lawn sprinklers. This is our strawberry patch where we decided to grow some watermelons and cantaloupes. All the strawberry plants are fed by the sprinklers, and then we have one 8-axis manifold where we run the soaker hose to little individual drip emitters for the watermelon and cantaloupe plants. And same with the area all around the mini orchard. These are all standard lawn sprinklers that are feeding watercress. This is a watercress and seed. We have lots of beautiful cosmos that'll be blooming in a few weeks. Make sure you don't miss our garden tour in July. And we have some Palmarosa growing here that we feed our chicks. They love Palmarosa. Also, just a quick warning, if your water pressure is low, you'll want to use fewer irrigation sprinklers. And a shout out to my warrior husband. All of this beauty is possible because of him. I hope you guys enjoy your week and enjoy your garden.